What's the time, Mr. Eagle?
I'll tell you what the time is. It's time for another episode of the David Eagle podcast. This one is the week of January the 29th to the February the 4th. The February the 4th, also known as February 4th. And this week features recordings from Middlesbrough, Winchester, and will be in various places in my house in Sheffield. We shall be in the living room. We shall be in the kitchen. Yes, there's another dishwashing special. Don't you worry about it. I've read the messages. I know you all love the dishwashing specials. But just when you thought it couldn't get any more exciting, the first day, January the 29th, you join myself and Ellie in bed. My goodness. Ah, yes, I've read those messages. And it's not going to be that kind of podcast before you get your hopes up, or getting anything up for that matter. So there you go. Some people would say, surely the big finish should be in the bed. Well, firstly, I would say, how do you know about the big finish? He's having the night off. So it's just me and Ellie in the bed. But some people would say you should end with the bed episode, because surely that's the big moment. Many people would say, you're starting with it, David. Surely you're peaking too soon. It's not the first time I've been in bed and been accused of peaking too soon. That's another story. And Ellie now refuses to allow me to bring a duck into the bedroom. That's a peaking duck joke there, listeners. And if you want to get in touch with us, it would be lovely to hear from you. I'm sure you can work out how to do that at the David Eagle on social media. And there might even be ways, I think, in which you can comment on the podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, I think you can leave little comments as we go. I don't know how I get those. I don't really have much dealings with Spotify. You can give it a go. You might have already given it a go, and I just haven't found out. I don't know how I find out about it. Who tells me? I don't know how it works. But anyway, there's so many ways you can get in touch with me. And depending on which one you try, I might even get to find out what you've said. I mean, if that doesn't encourage you to leave a comment, I don't know what will. Also, you can leave a review. I've not checked the reviews for a while. Last count, 5 stars across the board. And if the board enjoyed it, when I say across the board, I'm just talking about our shareholders that we have for the David Eagle podcast. Anyway, you get the point. You get what I'm trying to say. Leave a comment, leave a review if you want. Tell some friends. But before doing any of that, just put that on the back burner, because for now, all I want you to do is to enjoy this week's episode of the David Eagle podcast. January the 29th. Okay, well, it's the moment you've been waiting for. I know when you found out we were doing daily records, you thought surely it's only going to be a matter of time before they record from bed. And that is exactly what we're doing. Ellie is very excited.
It's after midnight.
You've just had a notification on your phone about something, so you get alerted when anyone's talking about me. Yeah. As in, when it's like a Google.
I've got a Google alert set up for David Eagle.
Rather than just anyone who's talking about me.
Which does mean, I think there's...
Bloody hell. Yes, be quiet. Sorry, if you can hear the bloody... When it says we're 35% there...
100% there.
We're trying out a new sex toy. You don't want to know what it means when it says we're 35% there. We're 100% there now, apparently. I don't know if you can hear that, listeners. That is my laptop has decided to install an update. Listeners, it's just installed an update. How exciting. But we are yet to give you the update that we were trying to give you. So, Ellie, you've just had a notification from me. You've had a notification from a Google alert for my name.
Quite often, it's just stuff of like, you've been listed for a gig, or there's some sort of anime character called David Eagle who seems to fight some Japanese person quite a lot.
Okay, I don't fight the Japanese, just in case you're thinking. I hope nobody has boycotted the podcast and not listened because they think I'm some sort of racist who's just on a Japanese vigilante hunt.
But since the other day we spoke about Wikipedia, is that still going in?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Just checking.
Because we record about, I'd say 30 times more than we need. There's hours and hours of recordings. We went on 3 other holidays that we didn't even feature because the Marrakesh one was the best. Just imagine what other ones we had. Unfortunately, you won't be getting that podcast from Rill.
You know what's weird? I was going to say...
You were going to go for Rill?
Caravan holiday in Rill.
Isn't it weird?
Which I've never been to.
No, neither have I.
Maybe we should go.
Or maybe it's a sign.
Just for the podcast. Anyway,
yes.
So the notification that I was like, what's going on here, was to the David Eagle page on Grokpedia.
So I didn't know there was such a thing as Grokpedia. Is this Grok the AI thing?
I believe so, yes.
Elon Musk. So what does Elon Musk have to say?
Well, it
David
also
Eagle?
says version 0.2 and fact-checked by Grok 4 weeks ago.
Well, it's been fact-checked. Has it got a picture of me from Wikipedia, but it's just me naked? It's taken my clothes off.
So
Or does it only do that with women and children?
it's a bit weird because sometimes there's like Wiki Person or something like that, which basically just takes Wikipedia articles and transports them into an extra section. But
And
it
then-
just takes them, it's literally a cut and paste. So
Okay, there's Wiki Person, and
Yeah.
then there's the one dedicated to Will Smith, which is a Wiki Wawa person.
God, I knew that was going to happen as well. Anyway, so this is Grokopedia. So it means it's taken Wikipedia and then AI'd it. As well as that, it's gone onto your podcasts and interviews online.
So
and
the
just
idea is that it kind
fleshed
of
it out.
goes rogue.
Yeah.
It takes the basic Wikipedia and then it just tries to use AI to kind of add extra
Make it more.
details.
So,
Okay,
I'm
well-
not going to read the entire thing because I screen recorded it scrolling through, and that took over 4 minutes. David Eagle was born in 1985 in Hartlepool, England. He grew up in this northeast coastal town alongside his parents and a younger brother in a household characterised by supportive family interactions and playful moments.
What?
These experiences in Hartlepool's community environment included church-organised youth events where he began questioning established beliefs after disliking overly simplistic activities, contributed to the development of his witty and sceptical personality outside of formal education or later creative pursuits. David Eagle became blind at the age of 9 months due to an unspecified medical condition. This event occurred during his infancy in Hartlepool, where his family responded by fostering an environment that emphasised auditory and tactile learning to support his development. Early on, Eagle's sensory experiences were shaped by sounds and touch, forming the foundation of his worldview without visual input, as he has no recollection of sight. The family avoided pseudo-scientific approaches, such as faith healers,
What?
opting instead for practical adaptations to aid his independence from toddlerhood. He also drew inspiration from classic radio broadcasts, including 1950s detective series that honed his storytelling ear, blending narrative with melody in his budding compositions.
So that's referring to Paul Temple
Temple.
by Timothy.
That's a deep dive, isn't it? Performing as a blind comedian presented unique challenges, such as navigating unfamiliar stages without visual clues, which Eagle transformed into central elements of his act: rhythmic pacing and audience engagement.
Rhythmic pacing.
Yeah.
We were talking about that on the podcast, how I don't really do pacing.
No.
I suppose it means pacing in terms of delivery rather than pacing about the stage. It's quite funny because he talks about problems with navigating the stage, and then it suddenly says I do rhythmic pacing. So, well, stop pacing. You're not doing yourself any favours.
Other motifs include misunderstood urban wildlife like pigeons and comedic songs, absurd erotica involving historical figures such as Princess Margaret, and sci-fi parodies featuring Dalek impressions.
I mean, it's right.
almost right.
It's sort of right based on various routines.
Yeah.
But the
But
way...
you don't have lots of erotica from historical figures.
Yeah, but I love the way... But I quite like the character that it's given.
Yeah.
This idea of this blind man struggling to navigate the stages. He rhythmically paces around, confusing the
Sings about
audience.
pigeons.
And then doing Dalek impressions. And then suddenly doing erotica based on historical figures.
Including childhood sex education gleaned from French shortwave radio broadcasts and encounters with cultural oddities like French lesbians, which inform his observational humour on identity and misunderstanding.
If you've never seen I think this is quite captivating.
Yeah.
Tickets still
I wanna go
available
see this show.
for Leicester on the 16th of February.
The David Eagle podcast.
Ah, so listeners, see how much of this you recognise. If you are not a regular listener, if you've just dipped in, maybe this is your first week and you're thinking, should I commit? I mean, I'm loving the bed stuff. It's not quite as exciting as we thought it was going to be. This might compel you to listen from the beginning.
The David Eagle podcast is an irregularly produced audio series hosted by comedian and folk singer David Eagle, featuring personal anecdotes from his travels and performances. Launched in 2016, the podcast explores the intersections of Eagle's comedy career and everyday adventures, with episodes released sporadically over the years. Co-hosted with his wife, Ellie Eagleskinner, the format centres on conversational discussions around recent stand-up gigs such as performances for military audiences.
I wonder, Ellie, if it will...
update based on this.
Yeah, and it'll say, and it also is dissections of Grokkopedia.
Yeah.
And it becomes more and more meta.
Performances for military audiences, crowds of exhausted parents with screaming babies, or intimate shows in locations like Coleshill, Birmingham. Recurring segments add humorous and thematic depth. Thematic depth, that's what we've got.
That's what we've got.
That's what I'm putting on the poster, including Herbal Tea of the Week, where hosts taste and review unusual teas in unconventional settings, such as a bomb shelter tea house in Slovakia featuring 6 international varieties. Another staple is Ellie's weekly animal penis fact, delivering quirky biological...
Another staple, by the way, was a very short-lived feature on Stationery.
Episodes often conclude with immersive soundscapes capturing local atmospheres, enhancing the podcast travelogue feel. It's maintained a niche audience through its irregular but engaging releases. David Eagle is married to Ellie Eagleskinner, with whom he shares a close partnership in both personal and professional spheres. Their wedding, recorded for later sharing, proved more eventful than they initially expected, as detailed in a dedicated episode of their joint podcast. Ellie plays a pivotal role in supporting
by the way,
Eagle's
our
work.
joint podcast is a very exciting podcast. It's just basically we just get stoned on weed. If you want to listen to that one, that's for Patreons.
Yeah, we need the money for that one.
Yeah,
To
so we
fund
can
it.
fund the marijuana we try. Never mind herbal teas of the week.
Ellie plays a pivotal role in supporting Eagle's work. I'm glad that it gets acknowledged somewhere. His routine in Sheffield, where he resides, incorporates reflective practices like meditation, often with a humorous twist to suit his lifestyle, alongside...
What is it going on about? It's because in the Radio 4 show there's a meditation sketch, but that just makes it sound like in my personal life I somehow do meditation with a humorous twist. I don't know what I'd do, how I'd do that.
January the 30th.
Welcome back, my faithful followers, to my workshop, Meditation with a Humorous Twist. And thank you very much for those of you who have returned. I know we had a couple of casualties last week. I do apologise for that. With the benefit of hindsight, meditating with our eyes closed while roller skating maybe wasn't the best idea. So this is a sitting meditation. So if you would now like to sit on your seats, please. Tricked you. I put whoopee cushions on your seats. Oh dear. Now, for this meditation, it will require you to close your eyes. So please do close your eyes now. And I'm just going to, just to get us in the mood, I'm just going to sprinkle you all gently with a bit of incense. I'm just going around you all now, just sprinkling you with a little bit of incense. There we go. Now, for this meditation, all you need to do, please, is just sit still. Just sit as still as you possibly can, okay? I noticed that quite a few of you seem to be struggling to sit still. You might be wondering why. I'll tell you why. Because that wasn't incense. It was itching powder. Oh, what fun. Okay, let's put some music on now to help you relax. This is from my latest CD of comedy-themed New Age music. And I think I'll play track 3, the Benny Hill theme on the panpipes. Okay, it's time for a breathing exercise. Well, so this is a fun one. So what I want you to do is take a deep breath in. But as you do so, I want you to tighten all of your muscles. In particular, the muscles around your backside. Really tighten them. And then, on the out breath, we're going to loosen those muscles and we're going to try and let out a really big fart. Oh, what fun, eh? That's meditation with a humorous twist. Let's breathe in. Tighten those muscles as we breathe in. Squeeze your backside muscles in. And now, get ready to breathe out and fart. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, actually, no, that wasn't a good one. Oh, bloody hell. It's twice in 2 months for me. Oh, I do apologise, everyone. I think you might want to stop breathing deeply. Oh, I think we're going to have to leave it there, everyone. Oh, dear.
January 31st.
Some people might have thought we peaked in week 1 when I took you to Marrakesh, but nothing could be further from the truth, my friends. Today, I record in a Premier Inn in Winchester. The young'uns are doing a gig in Winchester Cathedral tonight. And as we entered the hotel, they were playing Tutti, Frutti, Little Richard. I think that's like an earlier example of the kind of thing that I was talking about in Lou Bega's Mambo No. 5. Because if you think about the lyrics, Little Richard sings, first verse, I've got a girl named Sue. She knows just what to do. So just imagine Sue sat at home, hearing the voice of Little Richard going, my goodness, it's Little Richard, and smiling to herself. And then she hears her own name mentioned in the song, I've got a girl named Sue. And she's giddy with excitement. And then she hears, she knows just what to do. And she's absolutely over the moon by this. She thinks, did I hear that right? Well, there's no doubt in it because he says it again. I've got a girl named Sue. She knows just what to do. Surely she's the one. You know, he's put this on record. And she's dancing all the way through Tutti Frutti or Rooty. He has no idea what he's going on about. Whap bap balooba, a bam bam boo and all that nonsense. But she smiles to herself. She's learned to tolerate these weird, idiosyncratic speech patterns. You know, she's found it quite endearing. And she knows, you know, he's a big fan of Spike Milligan. And his favourite poem is On the Ning Nang Nong. And it was always going to come into his music. He's always wanted to do a rock and roll version of On the Ning Nang Nong where the cows go bong. But his record labels say, you know, it's not particularly hip, Richard. Anyway, she's over the moon. She can't believe it. And then, of course, just like Angela in Lou Bega's Mambo No. 5, what does she hear a few seconds later? I've got a girl named Daisy. Oh, my God. She can't believe it. She almost drives me crazy. Oh, does she indeed? Who the hell is this Daisy? And Daisy's driving her crazy. And her heart sinks. Just like Angela in Lou Bega's Mambo No. 5. And then just like Angela, she goes through like the processes of grief. She tries to console herself. You know, she's absolutely despondent about it. But then she tries to console herself. She goes, well, at least I got mentioned first. He mentioned me first. And he said I knew just what to do. And she says, you know, and Daisy, she almost drives him crazy, but not completely. It's a Pyrrhic victory, really. But at least she's managed to console herself with that. But that doesn't last very long, does it? Because what happens in the next verse? What does he do? He sings, I've got a girl named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. He's mentioned her twice, and now she's really despondent. My goodness, her emotions are all over the place. Why has Daisy been mentioned again? This is 4 times now that Daisy's been mentioned to her too. But then she listens and she goes, look, there's still time, you know, he's going to mention me again. Sure enough, the chorus comes again, and she goes, here we go. And then she hears a whap babalooba, a wham wham boo, and then the DJ cuts across, and that's the end. The song's over. At first, she's still in denial. She can't believe that the song's finished. She's going, you've cut him off. He's not finished yet. He's been cut off before. That's why it's called Little Richard. It was a terrible accident. But now she's tuning through the radio. And of course, a few minutes later, what does she hear? A whap babalooba, a wham bamboo. And her name isn't mentioned a second time. At that point, she has to accept. And Sue is absolutely bereft. And she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to do. And that's not like Sue. But then an idea comes into her head. And she thinks, I do know what to do. Revenge. And then she looks on her desk and she realises that Little Richard has left one of his prized possessions on Sue's desk. Well, he's going to get the shock of his life when he comes back. She picks it up. It is, of course, the book of Spike Milligan poetry. She picks it up. She goes to the fire. She lights the fire and she throws that book on the fire, and she watches with rage, and she cackles maniacally as the nonsense words of Spike Milligan erupt into flame. At first it's just a spark, and then it's a flame, and then, eventually, it smoulders into ash, and she thinks how very opposite. That's like their relationship, from a spark to a flame to ash. And she shrieks at the top of her voice, take that, Little Richard. You'll never go bong in my ning nang nong ever again. Ideally, I would have shouted that a bit louder. I would have given it a bit more, but we are in a hotel and there are other people presumably around. And I didn't necessarily want to shriek at the top of my voice, "You'll never go bong in my ning nang nong ever again." So you'll just have to imagine a bit more emotion there. Maybe we can fix that in post-production. Anyway, I've got to go to a cathedral and do a gig. February the 1st. Back home in Sheffield after our Winchester Cathedral gig, 2 things of note. First, there was a 7-second echo in the cathedral. Actually, 3 things of note. So if you didn't think the first thing of note was particularly interesting, and you're like, oh, bloody hell, there's only one more thing of note left. No, there's not. There's 2 more things of note left. Have that one as a bonus. A 7-second reverb in the cathedral, which was crazy because it meant that everything you sang or said, it was just constantly reverberating and coming back at you. I'm going to play you some clips. I've had to use audio restoration tools to try and get rid of some of the reverb. So I want the reverb to be in so you can hear how much reverb there is. But the trouble is, if I keep all of the reverb in, you can't really hear what's been said. But I'll play a few clips because one of the ideas of this podcast is it's sort of meant to be a bit of a sort of a documentary of charting things as I'm on the road, gigging and things like that. But what it seems to be a lot of the time is me in the kitchen doing the dishes. Which, I mean, I know is what people want, really. It's the thing that we get the most from comments. Get back in the kitchen, David. Do some dishes. We love it. So that's the first thing of note. The second thing, it was absolutely freezing. Apparently, all of the heating in the cathedral had broken a couple of weeks ago. And so it was absolutely freezing in there, which was good in some ways, because backstage, I realised that my teeth were chattering so much, I could do the Flight of the Bumblebee thing again. I was talking about this on last week's podcast about a gig where it was so cold. Backstage, my teeth are chattering and I could get it to go. That's me tapping my lips to try and make that sound. It doesn't sound as good as it sounded when my teeth are chattering. But unfortunately, by the time I got on stage, I'd warmed up too much with the adrenaline. So I ended up just going, and it didn't really have the effect that I wanted. And the audience were just very confused. So I was thinking about going on stage and doing Flight the Bumblebee, but I thought, well, what with the 7-second reverb, that's going to probably sound very odd. You're not going to hear the nuance of Flight of the Bumblebee. And also, if I warm up again, there's no chance of that in there, but if I warmed up again with the adrenaline and stuff, my teeth stopped chattering, then that's going to sound even weirder in a cathedral. And again, it would be the kind of gig where there would be some people in there who don't know who we are because they're regular goers to the cathedral. And so if the first thing they get is me going on stage and going, hey, it's so cold, I can do this. And it's just echoing around. That might be quite an odd start. I say it might be quite an odd start. It would be quite an odd start. There's no doubt about that. The other thing of note was that there's 4 things of note, it turns out, as I've just remembered another one. The other thing, my goodness. So if you didn't enjoy those 2, there's another 2 still to come. Say what you think about these things of note. The third thing of note, there was a big installation. We were performing underneath this massive, installation of the sun. I'm not very good at describing this. Ellie's having a bath. I could ask her to describe it briefly. Hang on, let's see if Ellie would do us the honours. Ellie? Jesus. Oh, my goodness. That's how she refers to me when... It's a little pet name for me.
What is Ellie doing the honour of?
I'm just wondering if you could very quickly describe, because I was trying to describe when we were at the Winchester Cathedral, I was trying to describe the orb thing that we were positioned under, but I didn't know how to describe it, so I thought you could do it quickly.
A massive inflated floating...
And we're talking about the orb, please, Ellie, if you could stick to that.
It's a massive inflated globe of a big balloon, and then it's got a light projected from inside it, which then moves, and this one was of the sun, so it had sort of dancing patterns of oranges and yellows across its surface from within, glowing above you.
There you go. Excellent. Hope you enjoy that, listeners. You've had me in the bath, listeners, as it were. Now you've had Ellie in the bath. Oh, my goodness. Oh, let's see. I'm going to open the door. Let's see if you can work out what Ellie is listening to in the bath. What the voice is. A little mystery voice competition.
Bombs in an attempt to destroy what is buried.
Oh, it's not who I thought it was.
What did you think it was?
I thought it was going to be Paul McGann.
No, although I do listen to a lot of podcasts with Paul McGann doing the narration. That's usually the really soothing podcast of Real Dictators.
That's with Paul McGann on, is it?
Yes.
Paul McGann, by the way, is not a real dictator.
No.
He's just presenting it.
He's just presenting the series Real Dictators, which I have as a sort of calming, soothing thing as I'm cooking or washing up sometimes. But I think they've run out of episodes.
Oh, that's the trouble. We need more dictators.
Well, we're working on them, aren't we?
Play a little clip of what you're currently listening to, and
okay, it's an audio.
I don't explain. If we do 10 seconds of what you're listening to, see if I can guess, because I don't know what you're listening to. See if I can guess what the subject is. Here we go.
Swift to repair, profitable to run, and lifelines to the community blockaded behind the border. So they must be dug, though diggers lose their lives each year through...
So it's about the Diggers' Rebellion. What?
No.
Oh, it's not?
No.
I thought it was about the...
Would you like me to tell you what it
Go on
actually
then.
is?
If you don't want to know right now, listeners, listen away or put it on pause and continue to guess.
It is Underland, A Deep Time Journey by Robert Macfarlane, narrated by Roy Macmillan.
Who's Roy Macmillan?
It's an audiobook narrator.
Oh, right, okay. He's not famous. But hello, Roy, if you're listening. Wouldn't it be weird if Roy was listening to this podcast and you're listening to him?
So the description is, in Underland, Robert Macfarlane takes us on a journey into the worlds beneath our feet, from the ice-blue depths of Greenland's glaciers to the underground networks by which trees communicate. From Bronze Age burial chambers to the rock art of remote Arctic sea caves, this is a deep time voyage into the planet's past and future. Global in its geography, gripping in its voice and haunting in its implications, Underland is a work of huge range and power and a remarkable new chapter in Macfarlane's long-term exploration of landscape and the human heart.
There you go. So it's very much like the David Eagle podcast.
Yeah, very similar actually.
Excellent. Unfortunately, the massive sun apparently looked very visually realistic, but it was providing absolutely no warmth whatsoever. It had no heat emanating from it. And the fourth thing of note, and I haven't remembered a fifth thing, I'm sorry if you were enjoying this list, the fourth thing of note is before we started, rather than just being introduced onto the stage, they said we'd like to start with a prayer, and we'd like to thank God for the music. And so he did this prayer, and then I thought they were going to introduce us after the prayer, but he didn't. He just went, Amen. And then he left. And then we just had to walk on. I assumed that there would be some kind of bridge between him doing the prayer and then introducing us onto the stage. But it was just, Amen. Then a pause. And then we came on, and then slowly people applauded. It was quite a strange way of starting a gig. I'd say it didn't necessarily whip the crowd up into a frenzy. I think he could have, and the thing is as well, he could have really done it effectively, couldn't he? Because he could have gone, Amen. And then he could have said, and amen for this evening, 3 lads from Teesside. You see, he could have done a little play on words there. A perfect juxtaposition from the prayer to the announcing on stage. But unfortunately, he didn't do that. He just went, amen, and then there was a bit of an awkward pause, and then we went on the stage. After he'd just gone, amen, it would have felt even more inappropriate to have just gone on stage and went, So I decided to forgo Flight of the Bumblebee. But here are a few little clips from our gig at Winchester Cathedral.
I can't help feeling it's quite a lot of pressure when you involve God in the situation before we'd like to thank God for this music. That's a lot of responsibility. They could have prayed for some heating. My goodness. There is a perverse irony of standing underneath a massive sun, and it's absolutely freezing. But
what it means to say is, thank you so much for the warm welcome everyone's given us here. When the wolves bit in the wood, and the devil knew my name, when the angels came a-riding on steeds so white and gay.
We're starting quite slowly because there is a 7-second reverb, a 7-second echo in this place. So it's quite good because when we sing properly, you can hear. If we do the chords well, you can really hear it. But if not, we have 7 seconds of shame to bask in. At one point, either you or Michael, Sean, sort of made a little noise in your mouth. You went, and that reverberated around for a good every...
Just a little bit of a cushion.
Wonderful. We'll try a faster one now, shall we? Maybe. Bit of Garfor, Mr. Cooney.
Oh, yes. We'd love to sing a song called Garfor's Bus. And it's a song we've been singing for over 10 years now, and it's about...
It's going to sound like 20 years with this reverb.
And if you want to sing along beneath this beautiful sun tonight, please feel free to do so. And the chorus of this is...
What we'll do, so you know when the chorus is coming in, 7 seconds before it, I'll put my hands up, you start singing, it'll be perfectly in time. Should we try the piano now, see how that goes? Oh, I don't want to brag, but it's lovely and warm here at this point. This piano doesn't seem to be doing anything, but... Maybe the piano is working, it's just such a delay that I haven't heard it yet. Is there anybody, is there any light coming from it?
I've just turned it on.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry, there was a bit of an echo. You said turned it on, didn't you? That would be inappropriate in church, Michael. There it is.
Michael, what's going on with your guitar? Well, I've just muted it because it was a heavy buzz.
There's a bit of a buzz going on, isn't there?
I've muted it now, so...
Yeah, but you muted it, but when you play it, it's going to be buzzing, isn't it?
I was trying to be subtle there.
Subtle? It sounded like someone was doing the vacuuming. It was going...
That's fine.
You hear that?
What's it going to be? That's right.
How loud is it in relation to your guitar? Well, if you're not playing the guitar, is that going to just... I mean, like... Play the guitar, because I just want to check how it sounds in relation and decide how it sounds. Oh, that's fine. It's quite quiet in comparison, isn't it? Are you all right with that, everybody? No.
Thank you.
So after all of that, Michael, did you even play the guitar? Well, you played it, but it wasn't even on. Was it on at all?
Oh, I was thrashing it, yeah. It just,
I couldn't hear any guitar there. Can anybody else hear any guitar? I don't think you could. I couldn't hear any guitar. Anyway.
It was just too much exposed.
You didn't have it, you had it muted, didn't you?
I had it muted, yeah.
So you had it muted, so all those people who said they could hear the guitars at the Emperor's New Clothes. You could hear the saxophone, couldn't you? My goodness. We don't even need to be here, we could just mime. Where to next? So, what's the deal with the guitar then, Michael? Are we using it or not?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
So I'm just going to have to play this on the piano?
Oh, that'd be lovely, yes.
If you could all imagine guitar.
Well, we'd like to sing...
That might help you there.
Thank you so much for a really memorable night. So beautiful to stand here with this amazing installation.
Thank you. You do flatter me. Well, I've heard some chatterblades in my time. There's a reason why Michael has to stand in the middle. What a show, sensational. We're in a cathedral. Anything to warm up.
Would you put your hands together as well for our special sound engineer tonight, Mr. Josh Clark. Thanks, Josh. You might recognise Josh if you've ever been to a Kate Rusby gig. Josh is in Kate Rusby's band, and apparently on the Christmas tour they made him dress up as Elsa from Frozen.
He doesn't like you to remind him about that. He keeps saying, let it go, let it go. But
Oh, yes.
We haven't even got a sound engineer. You could put a bit of reverb on our voices, Josh.
February the 2nd. Well, I'm very excited because a couple of days ago, when I was in Winchester, I was talking about Little Richard. And I was talking about Little Richard and his affinity to Spike Milligan. It was a memory that was in my head from something I'd read about Little Richard and his affinity to Spike Milligan. Anyway, we all have ways of unwinding. Ellie likes to listen to podcasts about dictators. And I like to relax by going on the dark web. I mean, being blind, all the web is dark, but I like to go on the dark web, and it's amazing what you find on there. So anyway, while doing the rounds on the old dark web, I did a little search for Little Richard Spike Milligan, and I couldn't believe what popped up. Well, what can I say? It's been a while, but the tablets seem to be working. I got them on the dark web. Bit dubious at first, but they seem to be working a treat. You'll never believe what popped up. It was the recording of Little Richard covering Spike Milligan's On the Ning Nang Nong. I knew I hadn't imagined this. I knew I'd heard it somewhere before. And sure enough, there it was. So it's got a very interesting history. As I said, the record label refused to release this, and so it was never released. But fortunately, like all of these things, the truth will out. Someone will always find a way. Like we had with the Gina G song, someone will find a way of smuggling this stuff out there. And thank God they did, because I think it's absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to play it for you now. I don't care. I know some people will think, my goodness, you don't want to get on the wrong side of, Little Richard's record label. Look, I don't bloody care. You know that one of the key aspects of this podcast is journalism. And the truth will out, my friends. This is Little Richard and his version of Spike Milligan's On the Ning Nang Nong.
On the ning nang nong where the cows go bong and the monkeys all say boo. And there's a nong nang ning where the trees go ping and the teapots jibber jabber chew. On the nong ning nang where the mice go clang and you just can't catch when you do. So it's ning nang nong, the cows go bong. Nong nang ning, the trees go ping. Nong ning nang, the mice go clang. What a noisy place to belong. It's the ning nang ning nang nong. Oh, what a noisy place to belong. It's the ning nang ning nang nong.
Good golly, Miss Molly. My goodness, what a song. And I don't know about you, but I think, again, like I said with Lou Bega, you really hear the freedom. I think the fact that maybe it's because they're singing what they really believe in. They're singing what they want to sing. And they're not kowtowing to their record label. And they're unshackled. And I think you can really hear that freedom in their voice. I just think the vocal delivery is absolutely brilliant. But I think that's the best I've heard Little Richard. I didn't know he could sing like that. He's excelled himself there, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what you think, but he's in fine voice there, isn't he? I'm sure over the coming weeks, I will be back on the dark web, and who knows what treasures I might unearth.
February the 3rd.
Back in the kitchen. I've just come back from a stand-up gig, and what better way to celebrate? It was a wonderful gig. I've got the adrenaline coursing through me, and some people might think, oh, what are you going to do, David? Sex, drugs, rock and roll, doing the dishes. And while I'm doing the dishes, I thought, my goodness, I'm on such a high that why don't I also do a little podcast recording as well? And I'd have a good time. Yes, it was a lovely gig in a pub. One of the acts that was on was a new act, a very new act. He was only 16. He was the son of the person who ran the gig. Yeah, he was really interesting because he was doing comedy from the perspective of a 16-year-old. I really enjoyed it because a lot of the time with 16-year-olds is a lot of teenagers have the reputation of not communicating. And so here he was, communicating to a lot of adults through the medium of stand-up. And it was really interesting because he was talking about teenage stuff. He was talking about being a 16-year-old and giving his opinion on various things, on vaping, mental health, lockdown, what lockdown was like, and homeschooling. But really funny stuff, but just from an interesting perspective. A lot of comedies from the same perspective a lot of the time. To have a 16-year-old's perspective, it was absolutely fascinating and really funny as well. And I was on at the end. I'm being modest there. As you see how I said I was on at the end. I didn't want to say I was headlining the gig. I mean, it was a gig to 50 people in a pub. I'm sure the 16-year-old could only dream that maybe that'll be him one day. But actually, having said that, as I was packing up my stuff and I was chatting to a few people, I could hear this drunk bloke, chatting to the 16-year-old. And he'd been chatting to him when I started packing up, and he was still talking to him afterwards. And he was still saying the same kind of thing. You know when you've got someone really drunk who just keep going? He was basically saying, oh, you, to the 16-year-old, you're really good there. You're just, you've really got promise. You went on stage, you're young, and you were funny. You were funny, son, And still, about 10 minutes later, when I was on my way out, I could hear him still going, hey, you're great, you were good, son. You were funny, mate, you were funny, and you're 16. To do that takes some balls, I'm not sure how I felt about him talking about a 16-year-old's balls, but there we go. But the best bit that I heard, the bit of the conversation was he went, I'm being honest here, mate. You keep that up. You keep doing that, and I can see you. If you commit, I can see you maybe in 3 or 4 years' time. I can see you up there doing stand-up in my local. Honestly, I can see that. And I was thinking, well, are we not in his local? Presumably we're not in his local now. Even though it was a pub, this isn't his local. So I don't know what cachet his local pub holds. What prestige his local pub holds. Actually, he didn't say pub, in fairness. I thought of it as a kind of a little, bloody hell, mate, 3 or 4 years' time, if he keeps working hard, he's going to be in your local doing stand-up. I thought he was going to say, on TV or something like that. But maybe in fairness to the bloke, actually, it wasn't such a backhanded compliment as it may have seemed. Maybe his local is the Apollo. He didn't say local pub. Maybe literally he lives next door to the Apollo. My local's the Apollo, mate, and I can see you doing live at the Apollo. 3 or 4 years' time. I can see you with my local. I mean, in fairness to him, maybe he'd seen that I was so... He'd seen how brilliant I was. And he thought, well, that's clearly the benchmark. If you've got to be at that, you get to that quality, and then, you perform in places like this. It is quite strange, some of the things people say to you after a gig. One of my favourite compliments I got was after a Young'uns gig. I talked about it recently in our Middlesbrough Town Hall gig that we did to celebrate 20 years since our first gig as a band. Because when you think about celebrating in style, you think Middlesbrough. We're going to go to I think 30 years we'll do Hartlepool. But, you don't want to peak too soon. So I'll play you this little clip where I tell you the story about one of the weirdest post-gig compliments we ever got.
I'm just thinking, we've had all sorts of brilliant people come up to us and say really poignant and profound things about what the songs have meant to them and things like that. But I have to say one of my favourite comments was a festival once, and someone came up to us and he said, lads, I've just got to say this from the bottom of my heart. Come here, from the bottom of my heart, you're better than fish fingers. And then he walks off, and we're like, what the heck are you talking about? Anyway, 2 hours later he comes back. I mean, he didn't even need to reintroduce himself. He just tapped you on the shoulder and went, oh, I meant the fisherman's friends.
February the 4th. We are just putting the finishing touches to uploading last week's podcast.
Yes.
All we need to do is add a little cover photo. And we thought it might be quite nice for this one to include Ellie meeting Dominic Monaghan.
Yes.
And so, by the way, Ellie is really here. I haven't just got like a sound effect of her laughing and saying yes.
Yes.
I said to Ellie, oh yeah, we better get this sorted so that you can find your picture of Dominic Monaghan. And she said, oh, I know exactly where it is. It's in my celebrity photo folder. By the way, I should say the reason for having Dominic Monaghan is because we mentioned on last week's podcast that Ellie was in Laos, or in Thailand, and met Dominic Monaghan from Lord of the Rings. So Ellie's got a celebrity photo folder. So I thought it might be good as a little quick end to this podcast. That's not me suggesting you haven't met many. I don't know how many celebrities.
You know what? I haven't updated this because it's on my Facebook and it tells you when you were last updated the album. It was 2008. So there's more since then, but
hang on, when did
there's
you...
a good
hang on, so Dominic Monaghan, how would Dominic Monaghan be in there? It was 2014, you said.
That's a good point. It's not in that album.
Okay, so...
It's in my Thailand album. Well done. Good
so
point.
Actually, after all of that, it's not in her celebrity folder.
But I do have a celebrity folder.
So
anyway,
if she's not even included Dominic Monaghan in her celebrity folder, let's think, what kind of celebrities are we talking about then?
Wow.
Because she's not even put Dominic Monaghan in the A-list category.
Well, obviously, there's folk celebrities. They go without saying.
Okay.
These are the real deal.
Okay.
Not like you. Okay, so it says, a charity benefit at work allowed me to meet the legend that is Stuart Lee and also Mr. Ross Noble. So this was the Teenage Cancer Charity Trust gig at what was then the Sage Gateshead.
And it's amazing that you managed to get a photo of Ross Noble with all the pacing that he does.
Yes.
As we've established on a previous podcast.
Photo number 2 is in Leeds at City Varieties, and that's with Marcus Brigstock.
Marcus Brigstock, here's a thing.
Yeah.
Who a lot of people say, I say a lot of people, a few people have said, looks like Michael Hughes.
There is a similarity.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in that they're tall.
I'm assuming you know who Michael Hughes is, listeners, if you're listening to this. Michael Hughes. I know he's the other one from the Young'uns.
Okay, so the next one is from when I was a member of the Friends of the Royal Shakespeare Company in Newcastle. And we used to have talks from the actors. And this is me and Tamsin Gregg.
Ooh.
Next one is back to the Sage, and the same night as Ross Noble and Stuart Lee, I met another famous comedian. Can you guess who it is, David Eagle?
How?
So I'm going to give you a clue.
Okay, all right, okay.
He started as a stand-up, and then he's had some sitcom experience. He was in a play, and he was taught to sing by Eliza Carthy.
Okay, so I'm thinking like folk people as like Jason Manford.
It's not Jason Manford.
I don't think that's an Eliza Carthy connection there. That's Kate Rusby.
He's been in a Dickens adaptation. He was in Bleak House. He's also a keen potter.
Johnny Vegas?
It's me and Johnny Vegas.
Oh.
Am I going to have to do a slideshow on your Instagram when this comes out? Okay, next up.
No, because it'll ruin the whole
That's
thing if listeners are trying to guess
well,
along.
I could do it like the week after.
Yeah.
As evidence. Okay.
As evidence. It'd be a strange thing to make.
So this is
invent.
This is a picture from about 2003 or 4, and this is taken in the SU of Newcastle University, and this is very exciting for Neighbours fans because it's Dr. Carl.
Yes, Ellie was a big Neighbours fan for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your Neighbours facts? Is in your...
My claims to fame for Neighbours, I went on the Neighbours tour in Melbourne, and as they drive you on, I mean, firstly, I got so excited.
Oh, God. What did you do, Ellie?
No, I got so excited when I saw, because you have to go and wait outside their office to get on the minibus to go to Ramsay Street and then to the set. And I was so excited when I saw the sign, I got a little panicky and a little bit overexcited and flustered, and I had to take myself away to go and have a coffee to calm down.
A coffee to calm down?
Yeah.
Somewhat oxymoronic.
I know, it was weird, but it did settle me. And then I was sharp. And that was important because on the minibus ride, they have a quiz, and it's not even multiple choice. It's like you have to know your neighbour's knowledge. And I won that quiz, and he said I got one of the highest scores anyone's ever had. Which
you could argue is a compliment or sort of a backhanded compliment in a way.
You know what, David Eagle? I went to Ramsay Street, greatest day of my life.
Okay.
I know that we
about our wedding.
I know that we got married, and people have heard that, and that was lovely.
It was not.
I'd do it again. I don't know.
You do what? You get married again.
I mean,
anyway.
You know what I could do? I could put a picture up of our wedding day, and I could put a picture up of me in Ramsay Street, and people could do a vote.
We could do it where you can't tell which one's which.
Yeah.
Literally, zoom it in on your face, and people can decide which one she looks happier in.
So the next one in my album is a bit niche, but if you like theatre and you like Drop the Dead Donkey, you should recognise Hayden Gwynn, who I met when I went to Stratford to see Merry Wives of Windsor, the musical. She's since died. Nothing to do with me. The next one is in Brackley Antique Cellar, and it's me and Tim Wonnacott-Smith from Bargain Hunt. Less fame,
okay.
You know. Oh, okay. So I'm very young in this one. I'm 18 in a pub in Oxford waiting to get a bus to Luton Airport to take my first flight to Dublin. And it's me with Sam Kratz from Neighbours.
Okay.
It's a different day at the Sage. I'm backstage, and it's me with Vic Reeves and his wife Nancy, because I looked after them for the other Teenage Cancer Trust gig.
So we both have a Vic Reeves connection. So weirdly, we have sung on a song featuring Vic Reeves in a children's film, an Aardman animation film called Itch of the Golden Knit. And we, as in the young'uns, were Vic Reeves' pirate backing band. So maybe we could play a little clip in now.
Who be this in my hearty ocean? Oh, I'm a smelly pirate, and I sail the 7 seas. Yes,
He's a smelly pirate and a stinky pirate too. With hairy knees.
I like to count me treasure, I got too much to measure. I like to sail on a boat, it floats better than a goat. I like to sail the 7 seas. Or is it 8? Who cares? Oh, I'm smelly pirate, a stinky pirate me.
A stinky pirate me.
A stinky pirate me.
A stinky pirate me.
And I don't care.
Bravo, you smelly saviors.
We don't save for free, you know. You must pay us in gold.
Go, 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 go.
Ooh.
The thing about that, incidentally, is we never actually got to meet Vic Reeves. We were very excited when we got told we were going to do this, but Vic Reeves recorded his part separately. I don't know whether he insisted that was the case or not.
I've just remembered my other Vic Reeves related. So do you remember the song Dizzy by Vic Reeves and the Wonder Stuff? So my school got picked to be on a TV show called Top Banana, and our class were going to be the kids that were on it. And one of the segments on it, you had to mime to a song, and ours was Dizzy by Vic Reeves.
Oh, so were you on the TV?
I was on the TV.
So you talked on the previous podcast, you've talked about the time that you didn't get on the Noel Edmonds show, Noel Edmonds' house party, Noel's house party, but you haven't told this story where you actually were on the TV.
Yes, but I did the audition, so people came to the school and we all had to mime to it, and I was like, the Wonder Stuff, they're practically folk. These are my people. I love Vic and Bob. I was probably the only person in my class who'd actually seen Vic Reeves' Big Night Out. I didn't get picked to be one of the band, and I didn't get picked to do the adventure playground thing that you did to win a prize, but I did get picked to go. So we went on the bus, we had a lovely day. It must have been LWT or something in Birmingham, I think we recorded it, and I got an inflatable banana, and I was in the crowd scenes, and at the end I managed to get on the trampoline with the host and hit him with my banana.
Who was the horse then?
Oh, God, what was his name? Hang on.
So is he famous?
Well, he was at the time, I guess.
Okay. I mean, I wonder if we can track this down.
So it was pre-record, and then on the day that our show was going live on the telly, I woke up at 6, ready to go and see it, and there was a power cut in Brackley, and it knocked out our house and the telly and the video player, and I'd got up, and so I didn't get to see it, but we saw a little clip in school because I think one of the teachers who lived out of the school got to do it, and you could just see me on the edge, but they had cut.
Oh, God, you didn't mention he was there.
But they did, I think his name was Mike. What was the guy, the host called? Mike Brosnan.
So there's someone listening now who is like, my God, you met Mike Brosnan.
Yeah.
You hit Mike Brosnan with a banana.
I wonder if it's probably on YouTube. We then had a plaque up in the school of this banana to say that Southfield School, Brackley, had been on Top Banana in 92 or whenever it was. Next up, you get to guess. Northeast singer.
Ooh.
Had number ones in the 90s.
Man or woman?
Man.
Jimmy Nail.
Yeah, he was a bit of a prick.
Was he?
Yeah.
She's lying.
Next up, a well-known jazz singer / pianist who hosts on Radio 2.
Jules Holland. No. Jamie Cullum.
Yes, me and Jamie Cullum, again at this age.
Jules Holland's more boogie-woogie, and he never lets us forget it. Because Jules Holland will sing a song. There's so many times on Jules Holland. We watched it once on New Year's Eve because we were not looking for a good time. and Jules Holland said, he told a story about, this is the year that we lost our dog. She was a loyal dog. And Jules Holland tells this story about the dog. And it says, and I want to play this little song in tribute to my dog. It's called Boogie Woogie Dog, or something like that, or Dog Boogie Woogie, and everything he does.
Bye-bye, Doggy Boogie Woogie.
Everything he does, he has Boogie Woogie at the end. Yeah. It doesn't matter how sad the story might be, or something like that. If he was asked to do, if he was asked to do the thing for Princess Diana rather than Elton John doing it, it would have been, and I call this the People's Princess Boogie Woogie. But he just can't. Everything that he does seems to have to be Boogie Woogie. So if he did get asked to play at a funeral, he'd be like, and now the Death March Boogie Woogie.
The next one you're not going to know, but it's an actor called Andrew Buchan, who's been in things like Broadchurch. And then it's me and another Radio 2 presenter, who's a West End star.
West End.
And he
Radio 2.
He's taken over a very well-known slot from Steve Wright.
Oh, Michael Ball. Michael Ball.
Michael Ball. Next up, it's Newcastle again. I went to Newcastle City Hall in April 2008 to go and see a comedy show. He's a very tall Irishman, and his show.
Dar O'Brien.
Yes. And the only picture of him and me, I've got my eyes closed. Next up, okay, she's a comic actress. She's Scottish. She was in Green Wing. She was also in Doctor Who.
Oh, bloody hell. She played not Donna. She played Amy.
No.
Amy Pond.
No,
She's Scottish?
No. She is Scottish, but she didn't play. She plays Missy.
I don't know who.
It's Michelle Gomez.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
There's also me giving an award to Benjamin Zephaniah.
Oh, Suzanne Vega. That's do, isn't it?
It's me presenting the award.
Or is it Sting? A do, a da. Whichever you find funnier, listeners, you insert your own, well, whatever, steady on, David. Whatever gets you through the podcast.
This was the first time I got to be on the main stage of Cambridge Folk Festival. Benjamin Zephaniah getting an award for Best Song for Tamlin. And we're going to loop back to the one that I skipped because I think this one's pretty impressive.
Okay, so this is the big finisher.
So this one's me and my friend Claire, and we went to Merry Wives of Windsor, the musical, and we met an actual British legend. She's a dame.
Helen Mirren.
Not that one.
Judi Dench.
Yes.
Oh.
It's us and Judi Dench, and she's very small, and she's very
Well, there we go.
So that's my main
Ellie's called it a dame, and we have to call it a day on the David Eagle podcast. That sort of works, listeners. It's... You can't have everything. It's a free podcast.
So remember to follow @the David Eagle on Instagram, listeners. And in a week's time, I'll do a little carousel of photos of me and celebrities. And maybe also zoomed in faces of me to see whether I'm happiest in Ramsey Street or when I married David Eagle.
Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week. Until then, from me, David Eagle.
And me, Ellie Eagle Skinner.
And it was an impression of Hyacinth Bouquet. It was an impression of Patricia Routledge.
Yes.
Who else do you think you could do, Ellie, maybe this week? Is there anything else that you feel you're a good impersonator of?
I could have a go at Sarah Milligan.
Ah, yes, okay. So,
what do you want me to say?
Well, I just want you to say goodbye. So, me, David Eagle, from Ellie Skinner, and we'll leave the last goodbye to Sarah Milligan.
Goodbye there, David.
And
goodbye, listeners. I'm Sarah Milligan, and I love a biscuit and a cup of tea. You should have me on Herbal Tea of the Week, David. It'd be a cracker.
Oh, crackers as well.
If you're lucky.
I don't know if we can go to Caracas. I don't think the budget stretches that far. It was difficult to get us to Marrakesh.
There's no budget for this podcast.
Bye.
Bye.